Let's do it.
We are doing it.
Hold on. Set the buttons first. Make sure all
They
the
are
buttons are
set.
set. Are they set?
Yeah.
We're not recording.
We're in your home, we're in your head. Lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV. Turn off your mind.
We were not recording.
Yeah, we were.
No, we were not.
All the buttons were pressed.
Make sure they're all
accordingly.
set.
They are
I
all
swear
set.
to God, Steven, if we get to one fucking button that's not set, I swear to God,
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take your cat and leave.
If you take Smokey, that's fine.
Shut the fuck up, Smokey. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back, everybody. Or welcome for the first time. Welcome, whatever.
Yeah.
We are Soul of a Gamer.
Soul of a Gamer.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Steven.
And every week we come at you with the game, we play it, and we tell you about it.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed last week's game, which was...
Was that Tomb Raider?
That was Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
2013 edition. The not remake, but reboot.
It's kind of a reboot, yeah.
Yeah. Remake-ish, reboot-ish.
Yeah.
I like how you're just
reimagined.
like on the side, you're like, I gotta push this cat away. Hold on, guys. Let me...
Well, the
Shut
cat's
the
just
fuck up, cat!
really loud right now. If you don't give him just like a little nudge, like, hey, not right now, he will just keep meowing at you forever.
So
It's
my cat's
super weird.
opposite. He'll go up to you and then say, hey, here's a nudge, pet me for a second, and then bite you, and then hurt you,
Yep.
then call your mother and tell her she's a whore, and
Yeah.
he'll do all those things.
Smokey always seems to want to bother me when I'm trying to record something.
Yep.
And Sunshine always starts wanting attention every time I'm about to eat food.
That's good. That's good. It's a good time to eat.
Right?
When your cat's bothering you, that's when you eat. That's when you have you seen that TikTok? And sorry guys to say this, it's on the podcast, but we got to talk about this TikTok.
Okay, let's go
It's a
for it.
TikTok about it's like a cat about to push something off a table, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like a cat does, and then some guy gets like a
little stuffed animal of
yeah,
a cat
a
and
little
then
stuffed
like
cat
eats it
and
with a
starts
shoe.
beating it with something, and the cat puts the thing back on the table. Yeah, that's what you got to do when you're
the best
eating.
kind of training thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen, because
It
I've
is
seen
so
so many videos
funny.
with puppies and stuff with that too. It works every single time. There's not a single time those videos I don't see that working.
And I'm sure they're cut, so
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
better, but it's really funny.
It's really just great. You're just like, oh crap, that's what you were gonna do to me.
Oh, God.
Never mind. Well, it's a good way to show that you could be violent without actually being violent towards your
I
animals.
guess yeah, that's a great idea. Next time your baby acts out, you get a toy baby, you smash its head against, put some fake blood in there, really show it how it goes.
Wow, I wasn't talking about with children.
It's the same thing. All right, so
Okay.
we hope you enjoyed Tomb Raider. We really like that game. That game was a
Oh,
lot of
fantastic.
fucking fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you listened to last week, but if you did, you know that we recommended you guys play it.
For sure.
For sure, fucking play it,
Yes.
please. This week's game is...
Hooked on You, Dead by Daylight dating
I
simulator.
thought you were going to finish. I thought you were just going to say, hooked on you. I'm like, and?
It is
Littering
a
and...
Dead by Daylight dating sim.
Yeah, this was really fucking sweet. This is such a funny game. This is so
Really,
fucking funny.
really is.
And a lot of the date, I will say I'm going to be comparing it to the other dating sims we played, such as
Yes.
Pigeon Simulator or as
Dream Daddy.
Dream Daddy. Because I think the things it's lacking, those games did.
True.
So they could just take from those games.
Yes.
Like they could say, okay, they did this. We could probably institute that. Let's get that in there. Like, because honestly, all these games together made a perfect fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, to be completely honest, and I mean, Dream Daddy had it kind of with that secret ending.
Yeah.
But, Pigeon Simulator, the secret ending was basically the
Wait,
ending
it was
you
like a
wanted.
whole game.
Yeah. But that's the ending you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, in Dream Daddy, you didn't care about the secret ending.
True.
But it still had a secret ending.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into this with...
What's on the box?
What is on the box?
Well, there isn't a box.
This is
It's
bullshit.
A digital game.
This
It's on
is bullshit.
Steam. So, it's Hooked on You. Welcome to Murder Island. Your companions, 4 dead sexy killers who, underneath their murderous exteriors, just want a little romance. Flirt your way into their hearts, uncovering dark twists along the way. Will you find true love, forge friendships, or get hacked to death?
Dark twists along the way? What dark twists are they talking about? I can't think of a single dark twist that was in that game.
Probably like just like the bad things that can happen. Like if
Oh, you mean if you piss off a serial killer?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bad thing that could happen if you piss off a monster?
Yeah.
Yeah, really dark twist, huh?
I don't know.
It's just
I can't unless
can't
they're
think-
just talking about their like lore. Like if you didn't know their lore, maybe
Yeah, you
some
get
of their
to-
lore is
you-
like dark.
maybe. I don't know. I can't think of anything that could have happened in the game that was like, I was like, oh, I did not see that coming. Maybe the
Well,
Rin thing.
maybe
where,
like the Dwight and Claudette kind of being like demons and like
Yeah.
everyone's trapped on the island and there's no way to escape. Like
Yeah.
dark twist ish.
I guess, yes, kind of ish. All right, well, I guess.
Well, and I wanted to say this too. The developer of this game is PsyOp, and most people probably don't know who this developer is, but this developer also did another dating simulator. They did the I Love You, Colonel Sanders simulator.
Really? Okay, is that a game about dating Colonel Sanders?
Well, it's dating fast food franchise mascots, yeah.
Oh, okay, so who would you date?
I don't remember who's all in it, but
I don't want
know
to say
Colonel
Wendy's because
Sanders.
she's like a little girl. So now I'm like, I don't know any other girl mascots.
I don't know if it's all KFC related characters or if it's other franchises.
Could be. I
but
think Taco Bell is a KFC thing.
maybe. But I just thought that was really
Did you date the
interesting.
Chihuahua?
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yes.
But I just wanted to say that was a really funny coincidence. And a lot of people, like this developing company, they're actually not a game developing company. They're an advertising development company.
Interesting.
And so this is basically one giant ad for Dead by Daylight, just like the KFC one was
For
the one
two.
for KFC. Well, yes.
Dead by Daylight 2. Kind
True.
of. I don't know if they hinted at it at the end, but they didn't really.
Right.
It seemed like a joke, but it could have been serious. Who knows? All right. Well, yeah, the box is really I don't know, not very good.
I mean, the main art for it, it's
It's good. It's
kind of
okay.
fun.
Yeah.
It's got Trapper all buff looking back at you like, hey.
Hey,
But yeah.
Trapper, the worst character in there. looking
Yeah,
back
by
at you.
far.
The most annoying one.
I guess we'll go into Are We Jammin' then?
Let's do it.
Are we jamming?
Yeah, music was okay. It was
Yeah.
it was average. It was what I expected from a dating sim. Same as Dream Daddy, same as Pigeon
Well, and I
Simulator.
love like a lot of the dialogue in this game was even talking about how this game was very cheaply made. They didn't
Yeah.
want to spend a lot of money on it. They didn't want to do anything like big with it. And so it's just kind of funny that that's kind of like you could tell
Yeah.
it was very cheap.
Yeah. And the dialogue in this game, no real dialogue. It's all text to chat, pretty much.
Yep.
It's just like the other ones we've done. It's all been just literally them saying something, and usually it's really fucking funny. Like everything
Yeah.
that this game did was really funny. There's one point where I don't remember whose date. It might have been Rate's date or Huntress's date. It's one of those two. And you go to look through a sightseeing thing.
Oh, it's Wraith.
It's Wraith? Okay.
Yeah.
And then during the date, you're like, Trickster's there? And he's like, don't you say it. Because he's trying to say Ghostface. And he's like, don't you say it. I don't want to pay the royalties. He's like, Ghostface. And then runs away. It's just like... And then you look through it, and he's like, oh, what's that in there? God damn it. Just because it's
And it
Ghostface.
sees Ghostface.
Yeah, and they have to pay that royalty. But I'm sure they, prepaid all these.
Well, yeah, and it's just really funny with that too because he's sitting there and he's talking about that. He's like, you know how much it costs how much my lawyer costs per hour? You know how much I'm gonna have to fight with this and pay for this just because we said Ghostface?
Yeah.
Quit saying their names.
It's really, the narrators in this killed it. They did a great job with the fucking narrators.
Yeah, there's some really incredible lines in this. Like we were talking about Trapper being a bad character, but there's one like line that I just found hilarious. It's like Trapper emerges from the water, and is he in slow motion? His pure thirst. He's Paul Newman on horseback. He's Denzel on the cover of GQ. Manly manliness brought to life.
Yeah, they did a great job with some of the funny moments. I laughed so much in the first
Oh,
time I
yeah.
played. I'm like, oh my god, this is so funny.
Just some of the lines that you have, or some of the options you have. Like, one of my favorite ones with Huntress. She's sitting there like talking about how that was really fun. Like you just had a date, and she's like, I'll keep trying to just relax and have a good time, but that's really hard for me. Anytime I let my guard down, something terrible happens. And your options are to say, like what? What if we let our pants down? Or totally.
I think I said, what if we let our pants down? She responded pretty well to it.
Nice. But I just think that some of those lines are just like, what the hell? Oh yeah, we were just talking about that, but that was another thing I saved was a couple of the Ghostface lines.
Yeah, the Ghostface ones were really funny. They did a great job on the dialogue between the characters and BU. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing I'll complain about with the dialogue and the music. Like I said, pretty standard for a dating sim.
Yeah.
It's just like a serene kind of like background. If the mode is romantic, the music shifts to romantic. If the mode is terrifying, the music shifts. Like it shifts appropriately. It does a great job. I think they do a good job with this, even though I'm not harping on it by saying it's average. But after playing so many dating sims, you're like, okay, this is how every dating sim sounds.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's not bad by any means. Is
Yeah.
kind of what we're trying to say there. And like some of the sounds I thought were like really funny. Like if you ever get to the end and you break one of the killer's hearts.
Oh yeah.
And you say, "I never loved you," you hear this like glass crash.
Yeah, it's so
sound,
funny.
and it's just like
I
oh,
love breaking the
shit.
killer's heart. That was the funniest thing. Like, laugh at her fucking face.
You're the true monster of this island.
Yeah.
All right.
On to the next one.
How does it play?
This is where I'm going to get specific. This game needed fucking more.
Yeah.
It was so boring to sit there and read stuff. Like in Dream Daddy, they did such a good job with the mini games.
Yeah.
Like pulling the aspect of those mini games into this game would have been such a good idea for them.
I agree, because like the only mini games they have in here was
One. There's only one.
and
It was
it's
only
the most
one.
lackluster mini game. It's
So-
just stopping a wheel on a dial.
So you basically have a circle. 1/8 of the circle is what you can stop on. 1/16 of the circle is what you can get a perfect on.
Yeah.
And there's no point to doing it.
No.
There's literally it's just the only time you have a point to do it is when you're with Spirit, I think, and you can die from not doing it. Maybe Trapper, I think.
Huntress, I think if you like miss everything and don't find her items that she's looking for.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have to do it for Huntress.
But,
Yeah,
like you can miss all but one.
yeah. It just it seems so lax, and it was too lax, and it didn't break up the monotonous of the game because it was
Yeah.
monotonous in itself. I was thinking about this on the way over, how simply just adding an extra click variable in there would have been a good idea. So like when you click, maybe a drop of blood spills
Yeah.
down the screen or something. Like
Right.
that would have been cool.
Just anything, like any sort of mini game, like especially like if we were gonna do a date, like I was half expecting at the beginning, because you start with the killer's playing volleyball and the volleyball hits you. I was half expecting to play a volleyball mini
Yeah,
game.
you throw it back in. You're like Top Gunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go back. You start hearing the Top Gun song. I don't remember what plays during the volleyball scene, but
I don't remember either.
there's a song that plays, and it's probably a Kenny Loggins song.
Probably.
And so you smash the ball down. I think they really made a mistake with what they did in here with the gameplay. Do a little bit more. Add some extra stuff going on. Mini games are important. And
Yeah.
and monotonous scroll to read games, they're very fucking important. They break up that monotony a little bit and make you change your dynamic of what you're doing.
I mean, the average playtime of this game is only 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So that means not many people are replaying this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's probably because there's nothing more to it than just reading.
Yeah,
It's-
so one thing that I thought Dream Daddy did well again was the fact that you could go on the first and second date of every character
Yes.
and do it like without having to start the fucking game over.
Yes.
That is so annoying to me, being in this game and having to start over every time I want to switch
Mm-hmm.
a character, because if you don't do that, if you decide to switch it to another character, you have to have full fucking cooperation from them.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just, like, muddle around and say, oh, I like what Hunter said here, and I like what Spirit said here. You can only like what Spirit says if you want to be with Spirit.
And see, I made that mistake my first playthrough
Yeah.
because I was kind of trying to, like, even the playing field with
Yeah.
everyone, just not trying to piss anybody off, not trying to
Did
die.
you get friend zoned?
No, I ended up dying my first
Oh, yeah,
playthrough.
sorry. I got friend zoned. And she's
okay.
like, hey, can we just... My favorite part was at the end is Huntress is like, oh, no. Normally when she says that, it means breakup time. And you're like, wait, what? What happened?
Oh,
no.
wow.
And then it's like, hey, let's just be friends. And if you don't, I'll fucking kill you. It's like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want to be friends.
That-
It's just so, like, not having that option to do every single one is fine. In Pigeon Simulator, it worked out well.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it in a certain way. But they had more options for the characters, more dates.
Yes.
You could, and add a fucking skip button.
Oh, seriously.
Could've.
So I did find that if you hold the next button it does fast forward.
Okay, maybe I should have done that. But then at no point they explained that.
No, they didn't. I had to I was trying to find a way to do it because
was
on my
clicking.
fourth playthrough, I was like, what is going? I can't just read the same shit over and over again. We need to have that. And almost every other dating simulator we've played has a skip, and it goes to the decisions.
Yeah, and in every other dating simulator we've played, it hasn't reworked the same shit in each person's fucking story. But in this, for some reason, the beginning is always the same, which makes sense, sure.
Yeah.
But then everything in the middle is almost always the same.
Yeah.
You're always hearing the same dialogue, when you're deciding whether to cut the meat. You don't need to make that fucking decision again. Who cares? You've already done it 3 times. Let me fucking skip it.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the weird part. With only having 4 characters in this game, it had a lot of everyone all together.
Yeah.
So every time you replay the game, you got so many of the same things over and over and over again with just slight variations of one character saying something different.
Yeah. It's interesting because you could also switch dates randomly, but
Yeah.
I never did that. I don't know what would have happened, but you can't get a full success on the character, so what the fuck is the point in doing that?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Yeah, they really, I think, messed up a lot of... Again, comparing to other dating simulators we've played, they messed up a lot on what you could have done in this game.
For sure.
It would have been so much better. Also, the fucking saves.
Yeah.
Fuck the saves. Declare one fucking autosave and make that the fucking autosave.
That was weird because every time you saved in a different file slot, it would start autosaving on top of that slot.
Yeah, so you had to save twice every time.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to go back and skip the beginning, you'd have to save 3 times because you have to save twice on every one to go back to the decision that you made. Because this is what you have to do in these games. You have to save, go back to the decision. If they don't like that decision, load back. Go back to the decision, do a different one. They don't like that one, go to the last one. That's the point in this. Otherwise, you're never going to know. Even based on Spirit's personality, I had no idea I had to ask about the glass shards the first time I did it. I had no fucking clue.
Exactly.
And so my second time, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to save and go back. And then I found, okay, well, it just overwrit everything I did. So it looks like I'm starting over again. And this time I'm doing 2 saves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fucking annoying. And the fact, you're right. Overlapping the fucking autosave on the first save you do, really fucking annoying.
Yes.
They should not have done that.
And almost every other game we've ever played has autosave as a separate save
Yeah.
file.
There's only 3 save files too, so you're very limited. And that sounds like why would you need more than one? In this case, you need more than one because 2 of them have to be done, one for autosave and one to have your real fucking save on it. If you want to go back and check decisions.
And in any of these games, like Scott was saying, you're typically pursuing one person for a reason. You're interested in that character, so you want to keep going with that character. And if you get to a point where you die, then you're like, oh, well, I just want to go back and change that one thing that I said instead of going back to the beginning of the game and repeating the entire process.
Yeah.
You need to have those saves.
Yeah, it's imperative you have these fucking saves. It is so annoying that they did this. I have no idea. I get maybe what you said is true. The advertisement team, the fact that they didn't care that much, I don't know. But it seemed like the people who made Dead by Daylight made the game.
Yeah, and I mean, the stories and the lore were there, the characters were there. I mean, not many of them, obviously, but and it was really funny with a lot of the dialogue we were saying. It's just there's a couple of gameplay components that could make this game fantastic.
Yeah, they should have done a little bit more. I know they cheap whatever bullshit that they were spouting out, but they could have done a little bit more.
Oh yeah. Which I did love. Oh, sorry. There's one other dialogue that I loved in this. They actually made a tie to their KFC game. Because when they're having that meal time, whether you're going to cook the meat, they're like, we cooked this in a certain number of herbs and spices.
Yeah, okay.
And it's the homage to the 11 herbs and spices of KFC.
Funny. That's funny. All right, well, let's jump over to the story. What we're going to do here, I think, is probably just talk about the characters, maybe a little bit story for each one. Not full fucking everything, but just a little bit, maybe the funny moments we liked. And then at the end, we're going to pick our 2 favorites.
Perfect.
All right.
It's story time. Let's get started.
Oh, so far, I'm 4 for 4 on the buttons, so go fuck yourself.
You're doing good. You finally figured it out. It's only been 50-plus episodes.
Yeah, we're getting close to 75, and I'm still making a shit ton of mistakes. You know,
all right,
I gotta do what I gotta do.
So this game revolves around 4 characters. Well, 5.
Yeah.
Well, 7.
Yeah.
8.
No, yeah, 8.
8 characters. No, 10.
Well, I guess, if you include yourself.
Yeah, 10 characters. So the 4 people you date, Huntress, Spirit, Trapper, Wraith. If you've never played Dead by Daylight, these are all monsters in Dead by Daylight.
Yes.
They're all killers, except for Spirit.
Yes.
It's really funny. The game seems to really want you to date Spirit.
Yeah, I know.
Because at one point, Dwight's even like everyone deserves to be here.
Spirit.
Except for Spirit. She was kind of murdered.
Yeah.
It's like they really want you to date Spirit.
It really sounded that way.
But so you get 4 killers you can date. There's an extra killer in the Trickster.
Yeah.
Who you can't date, but is just around.
And he just randomly like pops in and out. And doesn't really have much.
No, and there's no secret ending with him. That's another thing with the secret
Yeah.
ending stuff. You could have added a secret ending where you date
Well,
Trickster.
and they had like he even had a line talking about how is there a secret ending with me?
No, there wasn't.
And it's like, okay, why'd you even say that though?
So Trickster, Dwight, and Claudia, who are 2 playing characters in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah,
You
2
play as
survivors.
them. Yeah, who you try to defeat the monsters with. They are bitches for the
Yes.
monsters on this island. They're literally like servants with no pay.
Yep.
Um,
And then there's the narrator.
the narrator and the ocean.
Yes.
And they're both the narrator.
Yes.
They're separate narrators, but they're also the same narrator.
yes.
So, and very interesting job, game. So just very fucking funny, but very
And then
interesting.
yourself.
And yourself. And you, this is one thing that I really wish they would have done. Give some fucking backstory.
Yeah.
Do not do this whole bullshit thing where you sit there and you're like, you don't remember anything. Like, I think even in Dream Daddy, it was important for you to have that backstory that you were a single dad, you had a kid, you're doing stuff like.
And there's a lot of backstory with that, like with your character having that ska band.
And like
all the memories.
and those are
with your
cool,
daughter.
and you laugh at those too. Like when you find out, oh, I was in a ska band. That's
Right.
fucking funny. Like, and then Pigeon Simulator, you're the last human in this pigeon school, the only human.
Yeah.
Like that's already enough backstory to be like, holy shit, why am I the only human
Yeah,
here?
that's weird.
Yeah, that's so fucking weird, and you're more interested because of that. But in this one, you literally have nothing to go off of.
Well, and that's one of the things. Like I almost thought, like I thought it would be really funny if like there was some dark twist that you were a certain killer.
Yeah.
And they like
Or a new killer.
yeah.
Like anything, but you're like, I don't know, they just don't go into a lot of detail about your backstory. And then when they do, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed this. If you can tell a campfire story.
Yeah.
If you tell the romance one, you talk about how your mom and your dad met.
Yeah.
Okay? In the Wraith storyline, you can have an option where you say, Wraith asks you if there's anyone who means anything to you. You can say your grandmother, your parents, or no one.
Yeah.
Right? If you say the grandmother, you say, I don't really remember my parents, but I remember my grandma loving me a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Then you can still tell that fucking story
Yeah.
before or after that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
I thought that was weird too because I'm like, I just said I don't really know my parents, but I know how they met
Yeah.
in college and that they were together for years and instant connection.
Yeah, it's very interesting to have no continuity in the storyline in that way, and they really should have tried harder for the continuity.
I agree with that.
The continuity, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really weird, and I really was hoping that I was some sort of killer, and I just saw, I think, that they announced a new killer in Dead by Daylight, isn't it? The Black Knight or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like that would have been really cool if you were the knight, and they just had made like a bunch of like maybe hidden messages about it, like people talking about like, oh, that's a weird outfit for you to be wearing in this hot sun.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, and the only, like, it's stupid because every time you look in a mirror, too, you can't see your face.
Yeah.
So the only time you get to know how big you are is when you're comparing your size. When someone's like, oh, you're so much smaller than me, and you're so much skinnier than me, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm a really tiny
and that's,
guy.
well, wasn't that Trapper that
Yeah,
said that?
Trapper.
Yeah.
No, it's Oni.
Oh, okay.
Oni says that. So, and you know that Oni and Trapper are similar size, so you already know you're not a big buff killer like the rest of them.
Yeah.
You're also not tall. So, like all this stuff is just really weird that they don't give you anything to work on.
Yeah.
That backstory is important to me, but whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll get into the 4 people you date.
Okay.
Huntress.
Yes.
She is,
She was actually surprisingly one of my favorite characters. In
you know,
this.
yeah, and she's fun. She's like the girl in college, right? The girl that just got to college and is like, I'm gonna fuck every guy.
And like just like very like outgoing and
Yeah,
like very
excited about stuff,
competitive,
yeah.
and she's just very like
But even
just
like in a girly
rambunctious,
way, still like she's still like, and she's huge. She's fucking
she's
built,
massive.
and yeah, she's hot.
Yeah.
She's very...
I mean, she could be an NFL player, but one you'd still be attracted to.
Yeah, they did such a good job in making all the killers kind of look pretty.
Right.
Because they normally do not look
No,
pretty,
they do
guys.
not.
That's really funny that they are all like, oh my God, you're fucking gorgeous. Huntress's story is just you can date her. She wants to find a mate to have children with.
Yes.
Basically, she's always wanted children. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at. Like, right?
She's always wanted children because she pretty much only had an attachment to her mother, and
Yeah.
her mother always took care of her. So she wants to have a little girl herself.
Just a
And
little girl, though.
Even in her stories, she talks about how she kills all these men and kills all these boys and stuff. But every time
it's
there's
like the serene, sweet story,
Yeah.
but it's told from the perspective of a monster. So you're
Right?
like, oh my God.
But then, she every time she finds a little girl in the forest, she kidnaps her, and
ties them up,
and
yeah,
she
you're trying to make it sound good,
take
but it's
care of
not
it.
going to ever.
No, it's not gonna sound good. But
she ties them up and lets them starve to death, and she's like, I don't know what I did wrong.
she doesn't know how to take care of a child.
She doesn't know how to feed a child. She doesn't know how to feed a human, I guess, or give water to someone.
Which I always love Chad Daniels talking about that. He's like, I hate when people assume like dads are stupid or something. Like, do you know how to feed your children? What? Yes, I just take my food, chop it up a little smaller.
And
Like, what do
give
you
it to
mean?
them. Yeah. The Huntress did not get that.
No.
She does not know. So maybe it's the Huntress that's dumb.
Yeah.
You end up, if you end up with her, what is the last scene with her? You're just on the beach, aren't you?
So no, you I think you do like move to be like on a beach with her.
Yeah.
And you guys just like, you guys talk about how she wants to have like 6 kids, and you're like, let's make it 12.
Yeah.
And then you guys go out and you get her mother's approval and everything, and yeah, I think it's just you live happily ever after, making a ton of babies.
So, by the way, each character has like a secret character that gives you approval.
Yeah.
For the Huntress, it's the mom, and she's dead.
Yes.
So she's
Which,
a ghost.
when they brought up like her story and stuff, and like in that second campfire story where they actually have like the lullaby,
Yeah.
that I forgot how hauntingly beautiful that lullaby song is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing. That's actually a real Russian folklore song.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice. The second story with Huntress was funny too. She does like these wartime vets who who go and this guy is looking for home and he can't find it, and then he sees witches and he's like, don't kill me, and they're like, you killed us. He's like, no, that wasn't me, I promise, I swear. And I'm like, Jesus.
Well, someone has to pay.
Yeah, like, it's like, can somebody just tell a nice story? Can we just not
No.
get a shit story?
No.
And then you go up. Your stories are the funniest by far.
Yeah.
Did you do the action one?
No, I did not.
The action one is like a bunch of different movies rolled into one. He's like, so I'm at this bar, right? Getting over this arm wrestling competition that I get first place in. I chug a beer. Suddenly I hear a motorcycle outside. Then my arch nemesis, I can't remember the guy's name, but he kicks the doors open to the saloon. And then Spirit's like, wait, now we're in a saloon? And it's the guy from a motorcycle gang I beat up.
Oh, jeez.
So then I have to be like Roadhouse. It's like the funniest shit you've ever. It's like a bunch of fucking movies.
Is it Over the Top mixed with Roadhouse?
No. Well, like, it's just a bunch of movies all come together.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't actually say Roadhouse, but it's like
okay.
when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, this is Roadhouse, Over the Top. The biker gang one, I can't remember which one that was. That's a classic '80s movie too.
I can't remember either.
But they had a bunch of different movies like set in there,
Which-
and then the ending of that is like, he's like, and we're gonna fight, but then I have a nice conversation with him, and we don't fight,
Jeez.
and then I whack him in the face.
Oh, God.
He's like, because someone says, "What about the action part?" Oh yeah, I whack him in the face. It's just like. It's really dumb, but I'm like, that's a fucking story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The best story, I think, was Spirit's story of the person inside the cube.
Yeah, hers
with
was
the
dark.
detective. I mean, it's dark, but it's a cool story.
It is. It's a cool story, but both of her stories are. What's her second story?
I don't know.
Maybe her second one was the. No, her second one wasn't. No, it was the flower one. Her flower one was fucking weird. Do you remember that one?
I don't know if I do.
So it's like a. It's weird because she keeps correcting herself, and I don't understand the point in this.
Oh, okay.
But she keeps saying, and maybe this has to do with her story, and I don't know enough about her story because
Yeah.
each story had to do with them a little bit.
Yeah.
But basically, there's a man and a woman about to get married, so they're fiancés, and she kept saying like, and the bride, I mean fiancé. Every time she mentioned her, she said the bride, I mean fiancé, and I'm like,
Interesting.
so what does that have to do with the story? Because it doesn't seem it didn't fit anywhere in the story, and it turns out that it's a sad story. Just know that, like they don't get together. But point being, like that. They had no point in saying bride, I mean fiance, unless that had something to do with her background story.
I think possibly because she was in love with someone, or no, she wasn't ever really in love with someone.
I didn't think so, but I don't know. I didn't really read into her story too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Besides what they told us in the game, like I don't know anything about what they made up in the actual like Dead by Daylight series. Because she's a made-up character.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Huntress. Let's, I guess, jump into Spirit now that we're talking about her.
Yeah.
Spirit is dark, gloomy.
She's very vengeful, just wants revenge. She doesn't really care about anything.
Yeah, she was chopped up by her dad, and obviously killed and chopped up. So she just wants vengeance against her father.
Yep.
And yeah, she's gloomy. She likes books. She's kind of a nerd.
Yeah. She likes sitting in her dark lighthouse and.
Yeah, she's very sun sensitive, so she always has sunscreen on.
Yep.
Hers is the funniest mini game by far.
Can't remember if I.
Her mini game is you have to put sunscreen on her toes.
Oh.
Yeah, because she likes her toes being touched. I thought that was really funny, but
interesting.
Her story is basically she's spouting vengeance against her dad the entire time, but she does have I think the most serene story of all of them.
Yeah,
her and Wraith, I would say, have the most serene stories.
I didn't get Wraith's story, but I think she's got a really just awesome story.
Yeah, and her ending is like, I think if you get with her... Oh, sorry. We should say the Huntress good and bad.
Oh,
so
yes.
Good ending is you get with her. Bad ending is you steal all the treasure you found. And you start laughing at her face. You're like, I could never love you.
Oh.
It's just the funniest thing. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so
When you dated Huntress,
funny.
What kind of mask did you have her make?
It was a weird... It was the one with the fucking...
Oh, the anglerfish?
Yeah, anglerfish.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, that sounds fucking sweet.
I did the bunny mask, and she's like, that's not very creative. And she's like, unless you wanted us both to have bunny masks so it looked like we're two different people, but we look like we're one person for our prey.
Yes.
And we double team together. And I was
That's
like,
fine.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I was thinking more like a husband-wife vibe, but you do whatever you think.
Whatever. I was thinking fuck like bunnies, but...
You get to have her make your own mask, and I made an angler's fish.
And I did it right.
That's the one fish with the fucking hook on its head with the light on it that lives in the deep sea.
Yep.
But her ending, at the end of it, you put everything together, all of her treasures, because they all seem worthless, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, they're the entity.
Interesting.
All together, they make the entity. The entity is the thing that puts the killers and the survivors together to make them fight.
Oh, okay.
So, but they're the entity.
Weird.
Yeah, it's. I don't know because I did her story last. I don't know what part of this became true and what part of it wasn't for her story. Because right after you do it, like all the stories, you get an extra scene. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we'll talk about that at the end here. Spirit, her good ending. You end up with her. Or you don't, basically. Bad ending is like she's sitting alone thinking like,
crying at the pool.
Yeah, but she's like, I'm gonna kill him. It's just like this. You're like, oh, maybe I made a mistake.
Right.
Yeah, Spirit was a lot of fun. Let's go into Trapper.
I didn't do much with him. He was very annoying.
Yeah, he was really annoying, and even like doing his story, it's like all traps.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to really epitomize that he is the trapper.
Seriously.
So like whenever he asks you a question, there's 4 options, and it's like, I do fucking nothing. He's like, you're right. The question was a trap. And you're like, God, fuck you, dude.
Oh
fuck,
my gosh,
fuck you.
that's
Just
just
go
so
fuck
annoying.
yourself. Like, and anytime you get a trap wrong, you die.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's just so interesting. There was a part at the end where you have to get his father's approval. So in his cave, he's keeping his dying dad.
Okay.
And he's by the way, their names are Anna was Huntress, Rin,
yeah.
Rin is Spirit, Evan McNeil or McMillian is a trapper, and I don't remember the rate's name.
I don't either.
It might come to me at some point. But yeah, you have to get his dad's approval, and his dad's like the funniest character.
Oh, okay.
Because if you deny him, if you at the end break his heart, he's like, ah, my son sucks.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. And like whenever you deny someone, the entity comes out and he's like, yes, yes. It's just,
Break their hearts. They don't deserve love. Love is stupid anyways.
it's so funny. But then if you do decide to be with him, again, another fucking trap.
Oh,
like, what
geez.
would you do to my dad? That's the question he asks you. And he hates his dad.
Okay.
Okay? So the obvious answer is like, kill him.
Yeah.
That's not the right answer.
Yeah, because he wants to keep him alive and keep torturing him.
Yep. Second answer is keep him alive. Not the right answer.
Interesting.
Third answer is something I can't remember. And fourth answer was I'd never heard of McMillian.
Oh, okay.
And that's the right answer. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's stupid.
Yeah. He hates his dad, but he doesn't want to hurt him.
Okay.
That's why he keeps him alive in his basement.
Weird.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. I don't know. His story, like I said, it's kind of the most lackluster.
Yeah.
Also, the only person you have sex with so far is really the spirit.
You have sex with Huntress.
Yeah, kind of. It doesn't have the same kind of, the spirit's like, oh, right there. Yeah. Like, the spirit actually does through all the motions, and everyone else doesn't. They just skip it. So
Yeah.
I wonder if they wrote the spirit first, and they said, okay, we're going to write in the motions. Okay, I didn't like that. Keep it, but don't write it for any of the other characters.
Well, and I think it's funny, like, the first time you're about to have sex with a Huntress is when you first meet her mom, because you don't realize her ghost is going to be there.
that's so sexy.
And she strips down.
You're
and
like, you take off her, it's called a veil, right?
It's called, like,
I can't remember. It covers, it's like a top for your bathing suit, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sheer, well, not necessarily sheer,
I don't
but
even know what
just
to
like
fucking call it. They had a name for it in the, imagine a kimono.
Pretty
How
much
that
just,
covers up, but it's more open than a kimono.
Yeah, kind of like a kimono-y dress.
Yeah, ish
thing.
Yeah, you go in, keep going with the Huntress' mom.
But yeah, you go in, she strips
Take
down.
off her nice little kimono dress.
You lay down a blanket by the fireplace. You say all these things about how you wanted to fuck her by the fireplace. She's getting all ready for it, and then all of a sudden her mom's ghost just appears, and she's like, "Oh shit!" And puts on her clothes real quick.
Yeah, and then Dwight and Claudette are like, "Surprise! We brought your mom back to life for a minute."
Well, Spirit did. But...
Yeah. And just like Claudette and Dwight are the most annoying cock blocks in this entire fucking game.
They're just annoying characters. Like, they just interrupt all the time.
Well, that's the point of them. They're supposed to be like a weird humor character.
But it's like, a lot of times, like, I just want to enjoy a date. Like, I just want to, like, actually be at the bar or do this mini game or whatever it is. I don't want to just keep having you guys interrupt because it's nothing really you're adding to any of the stories. Just some comedy here and there.
Yeah, but I mean, they were fun. In Rin's story, you figure out that they're demons.
Yeah.
Like, there's a flash of light, and it shows their demon form for a moment, and you're like, oh, what?
Which you find out early, like, middle of the game.
They can't die.
They can't die, and they always spend all their free time trying to kill
each
other.
Tell them about the way you find that out.
So
you're at the hot tub.
My favorite part, and you just hear some random noises coming up from behind you in
like,
this, like,
right
shed.
there.
Right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, right there. Oh, that's right where I need it. And then you're like, and then you hear, what the fuck? And then, like, you and the narrator are talking about, like, what kind of noises are they making back there? What are they doing?
The narrator's like, just stand there and don't say anything.
And then you hear, okay, now it's your turn. And I'm going to put it in the exact same place you put it in me. Really? Right there? Oh, yeah, right there. Ah! And you're like, oh, God, what are they doing back there? Is he getting pegged or something? Like, what the fuck? And then you eventually, like, are talking to the narrator, and you're like, I should probably say something, like
oh, hey, I love how she's like, oh, hey, here I am at the hot tub. Just how loud you say that just so they hear.
Well, and she's like, oh, yeah, what are you trying to spy on us for? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I was sitting in the hot tub. You're the ones right behind me being all weird.
Fuck shack, bro.
And you find out that they're just trying to kill each other, and they were actually stabbing each other because she believes that if you kill someone in the exact certain way, they will actually die and not come back to life.
Because they can get their heads chopped off and they come back to life.
Yep.
During the Huntress date, you can chop their heads off and they come back to life like 2 minutes later.
Yep.
So during the Trapper date, I think in the Trapper date you kill, or maybe he kills both of them. I think he just kills both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the
Spirit, you can kill them both too.
I think the Hunter state is the only one you really care to do that at.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Spirit and the Hunter state are the only ones you actually like do it with each other.
Yeah.
Whereas the Wraith and the other one you don't, the Trapper.
Fair enough.
All right, so the Wraith story, his is a lot weirder. He's found a way out.
Yeah, I kept on getting that vibe from him that he's figured something out, and a lot of people say that he's figured something out, and they don't know what.
It's pretty fucked, dude.
Oh, okay.
So, like everyone else, at the end, you either get with him or break their heart.
Yeah.
Him, you either kill him or break his heart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you're kind of talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I found this thing, and he found a hatch.
Oh.
Which, if you've ever played Dead by Daylight, the hatch is like a free way to get out for the last survivor.
Yeah.
But you have to find it. And he found a hatch, and it goes down to this like underground thing where there's like a ritual going on. He's like, the people used to do a ritual here to come to the island, and then if you want to leave the island, you have to do a ritual to leave. So we're going to do the ritual to leave, but I need a couple things.
Okay.
And so he needs his bell
Oh, okay.
because it got lost. Spirit
Yeah.
stole it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting because each date is interrupted by someone in particular. Trapper's date is interrupted by Huntress. Spirit's date is interrupted by Wraith. Spirit's date is also interrupted by Huntress.
Yeah.
Wraith's date is interrupted by Trapper and by Spirit.
And then Huntress's dates are interrupted by Trapper.
And I think Wraith. Like, it just gets weird because they interrupt so fucking much.
There's just so many interruptions in this game. It's
but
really
again, it
hard.
doesn't really serve a purpose because if you go with someone else, you just don't get anything out of
Yeah.
that. So you have to go find his bell. And I'm trying to remember. You have to go to everyone's place.
Okay, so it's the same as Huntress's.
So same as Huntress's. I don't remember if you did this for. Oh, maybe no. I think Huntress is one where you had to take a certain path for the Trapper.
Yes.
Because otherwise you die.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But in this one, you have to go talk to everyone, and then you talk to Trickster eventually, and he's like, I saw a spirit with it. And then you go back to Spirit, and she's like, fine, I took the bell. I'm like, why didn't you just say you took the bell in the first place?
Seriously,
like, why
though.
did you make me go all the way around and then confront you again? And then I think you have to do the same mini game, the one like look into the light. And I'm like, why? And you die if you look into the light. So you get the bell back and you bring it back to him. He's like, okay, so now you get to be my grandma.
Oh,
My
weird.
good old grandma Spirit is down there. I think his name is James. He had a very normalish name.
Okay.
I think, if I remember right. It might be remembering way wrong.
I didn't do right,
wrong.
so.
So he now says, okay, so now talk to my grandma. And you have to answer questions for the grandma.
Okay.
So just like you had to answer like the Trapper's questions for Spirit.
Yeah.
And then the Trapper, you have to answer questions for him.
Yeah.
You have to answer questions for grandma. And she asks you about like stargazing and shit like that. It's really
Okay.
easy answers. And I don't know what happens if you get them wrong because I guessed right on everyone.
Okay.
I got lucky. I got really
Nice.
lucky on that one. But I guessed right. And then she's like, oh, your new boyfriend's really nice. And she's like, Mom, not my boyfriend. No. You got it, Grandma. And then he's like, okay, so now just kill me.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, what? He's like, yeah, you got to rip my heart out of my body with your bare hands.
Okay.
Here, take this knife, cut open my chest, and rip my heart out and squish it in your hands, and then you can leave.
Kalima.
Yeah. It's basically Kali Ma. So
right.
That's the way you get out. So you can either do that or tell him like, "Are you a fucking freak?"
What the fuck?
It is so funny that his story was like so weird. And if you, I'm trying to remember if the good ending. I'm pretty sure you just appear on the same beach or a similar beach. Like you don't appear
Okay.
anywhere different. You don't get any information about yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the good ending is you kill Wraith, and then it shows a picture of him being sexy with his chest cut open.
Interesting.
It's just really fucking funny. And the grandma's like, yeah, kill him. And just like, the side characters are really funny. Oh, and Rin's side character was the Oni.
Yeah.
Which is another killer in Dead by Daylight. So yeah.
One of the things I kind of hope this would get a sequel and we get like a better game with all the IP characters. Like it'd be so cool to have
All
a
the
dating
IP characters?
all the franchise characters like Ghostface.
Got you.
If we had Ghostface, Nemesis, Demigorgon.
Oh, Demigorgon would be hilarious. That one would be the
I'm
best.
trying to think of who else is in there. Oh, Buddy,
Pig Lady.
Pig Lady. Like
Did
seriously.
you say Buddy?
Yeah. Isn't he
The clown?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Isn't that his name?
Kind of. I think he's allowed to be in there. His name's not Buddy in the game. It's
Oh, okay.
I can't remember, the cannibal or something like that. I don't remember,
Maybe.
but
I don't
I
remember.
think
It's been a
he's
while since I
kind
played
of
the
like an
game.
original character because I think that's free domain shit.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers would be funny.
Yeah, like all these people would be.
It would be funny if you take off their full mask. You're like, oh my god, you're beautiful.
It would be funny with Michael Myers if he never says anything on any of his dates.
Yeah, he's just completely quiet. He's like, you're right, I am beautiful. So now, which two are your favorite?
Definitely, I would say probably Spirit, and Huntress actually ended up being my favorite character.
Yeah, I went with Spirit and Wraith.
Okay.
Now, because Wraith is so fucking awesome.
Okay.
He wants to get you home. Like, that's his
Yes.
whole goal after he gets to know you. He's like, you should get home. You matter. I don't.
Yeah.
And B, he is such a fucking cool character. He's so nice all the time.
Yeah, he's so different from the other
Yeah,
ones.
he's so much more open with his feelings, where everyone else you kind of have to dig really hard to get to them.
Yeah.
Like he's very open about everything. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of sad all the time, and like if that's something you can deal with, you be with me. And Spirit was my second favorite, and Spirit because she's very much more tinted towards what I like to see in a woman.
Yeah.
Like she's dark, she loves to read, she's a thinker, she's educated, she's got this like amazing past, she doesn't like her family. Like these are really big flaws that actually work well with a characterization of a character.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Trapper and Huntress are just kind of like, look at me, I'm musclehead and I'm really happy, go lucky. You can find out that I'm a little sad, but I'm still happy behind that sadness.
Yeah.
So here I am, out in the open. Like,
Yeah, there's kind of like weird things with Huntress with that, but like it's also like she's just kind of an endearing character just because of how happy she is and stuff all the time. And
I love her name.
Yeah.
Anna.
And I don't know, like I kind of did like she's a really impressive singer, but she's also like this crazy hunter killer, and she has all these like forest techniques and survival that's just really ridiculous. And you feel like you probably could actually turn her into like more of a civilized person. She's almost just kind of like Tarzan at this point, and you're Jane, and you can bring her into civilization and
I love how she was like, oh no, the killer crabs are back.
Right.
And if you do the spirit story at one point, you're like, oh, if you wake up, you're like, oh no, there's a killer crab near you. Oh wait, you never did the Huntress story. You don't know what those are.
Nice.
Or maybe that was Trapper's story. I don't remember which. It was one of those stories, and you're like, oh god.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I had no idea what it was because I did Huntress last, and I'm like, oh, that's what the killer crabs are. All right, so the secret stuff now.
Okay.
If you do all the good endings, you become a developer for the company.
Oh, interesting.
So they're like, we want to hire you as a new developer. You're great with people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you do all the bad endings, you become the next killer for Dead by Daylight 2.
Yep.
Love hurts or something. So, he's like, what's better than a monster killing? A monster who hurts other monsters' feelings.
Oh no.
It's just like and if you do all 8, the Trickster's medallion becomes yours. It's like a little keychain, but you don't get to date the fucking Trickster.
That's super weird.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah, that should have been a thing for sure.
Yeah, so in it, I'm like, well, maybe some of these secret achievements I didn't get are it, but I'm sure they're all just like, die by this way, die by that way. I'm like, I'm not going to go back in the game and just die a bunch of different ways.
I forgot what, some of them had some funny achievement names, but I definitely had died a couple different ways, and I was like,
Yeah. It's good game overall. Wish the ending, the secret ending would have done them well. A pigeon simulator ending in this game would have done them very fucking well.
Yeah.
And you could fix the backstory issue. All your backstory comes in the secret ending.
True.
Like, and that would have been great, but I don't know. They just decided to go quick and easy on this game, which is unfortunate because it was really good.
I mean, it's definitely been a pretty successful game, but it's definitely just really basic.
Yeah, very basic. All right, well, let's move on.
Worth or not?
I got him! I got him! He had one button not ready. He had one fucking button not ready.
Oh, and of course it was the last one. I'm glad it wasn't the first one because
right.
you would have given me so much more shit.
For the entire. Now you just get for the entire ending. You get this shit. All right, so no button pusher over here. What's your rating on this game?
I think if you liked dating simulators and you want to see like kind of the comedy of what a Dead by Daylight dating simulator is, this game is completely worth it. It's only $10. This game is not very expensive at all, and like we said, there's a reason it's only $10. It's a very basic average game, and you will get a good solid, like, I think I put 6 hours into this, but I mean, you can go through one story in like an hour.
Yeah.
So,
Or if you like really pay attention to every little detail, you could probably get through it in 2 hours, I guess. But
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll go Worth 2. I think this game was good for what it was.
Yeah.
I really think that. It wasn't presented to me as it's supposed to be a 25-hour game where
Exactly.
you have to do all this stuff to get the good endings or anything. At the very least, I can appreciate the no secret ending to keep it simple.
yeah.
Which is something that you don't get in a lot of games like these.
Well, and only having 4 options really keeps it simple
Yeah,
too.
which was nice, which made it easier to go back and play through.
Exactly.
I will say, I would have liked them to have that Dream Daddy thing where you can date each one a certain number of times before you make it to the final
and
part.
I think Dream Daddy did it like the perfect number because like 8 people is a lot better than having
Yeah.
16 like Pigeon Simulator.
Yeah,
had.
true. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and there's no like weird stat stuff like Pigeon Simulator had, which was really fucking obnoxious.
That was obnoxious.
But yes, like I think the game's worth it, even with the monotony and the boringness in the mini games. Like everything was still fun. The dialogue was fucking perfect.
Yes,
They
it was actual
killed it.
hilarious dialogue.
Backstories was really cool. If you played Dead by Daylight, but you've never paid attention to the backstories of the killers, like this was a really good way to jump in there and learn.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like this would be a good way for them to jump in, like bring a new dating character in, just
Yeah.
to get some like insight on how the character actually feels.
Or it would be really funny too if they actually like made a tie with Dead by Daylight. Like you got some of these skins in the game.
That would be funny.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be really funny. If you but not only the skin, like not only the suit, you actually look like the dating simulator character. That would be really fucking funny.
Oh, so great.
Spirit chasing you with giant tits and just in a bathing suit with whatever kimono thing over and a giant sun hat. Be so fucking funny.
The mankini of Trapper chasing people down.
True. One more thing I want to say about Spirit, which I thought was really funny. She, like I said, she's the only one you actually get to have sex with in like a personal way where they explain it. During that, she's got pieces of glass just sticking out of her fucking body. Also, she's completely like her body parts are broken up, like you said, so everything is like severed.
Yeah.
So she's holding herself together, but she can like make her hand float wherever she wants.
Yep.
And your character will go like, "Well, that could be useful."
Right?
Just
Float your hand over here.
yeah. And she doesn't like that stuff, so don't say it to her.
I know. I messed up with that. That's how I died the first time.
But it was so funny. It's still so funny. But during the sex scene, you get a piece of the glass stuck in her. I don't know why she has glass in her.
Yeah,
they
that's
really
weird.
never explained it.
She just never takes it out, apparently.
Yeah, she never takes it out. I don't know if she got thrown through a window too or something like that. But she's got glass in her, and one of the pieces gets lodged in you as you're having sex with her. And you're like, I think you dropped something. So you're like a total like trying to make it flirty still. You're like, oh god, you dropped a piece of glass that came out of your body. Here you go. She's like, no, keep it. You'll always remember me.
You
now.
put something in my body, I put something in
Yeah,
yours.
pretty much. So, and I don't know if you put it back in the hole that it
Oh
made.
god, or just make a different one.
Oh god, I just don't want to imagine. It sounds so awful, but it was so fucking funny.
Wow.
It's so such an awkward game, guys. I think you guys would like it. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
So yeah, we got Worth on both sides.
Yes.
We should make a button that has like it's a total Worth game.
We
Boo!
could.
Like a celebration button.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any. Oh, I have the.
No.
That's not it. It's the.
Yeah, we can do something better. I'll find something better.
I have other stuff, but
Well, we'll get something better.
Yeah.
So that's that. And next week's game.
next week's game is Legacy of Goku.
Legacy of Goku. This is a game that came out on the Game Boy Advance in what, like 2001, 2?
I don't even remember.
I
the
think
date.
it was 2001 or 2. So we're going to play that. We're going to tell you about it next week. So bye, guys.
Bye.